Hello everyone, this is Vinny. Just wanted to do a tutorial video on how to use my Reffect packs. For those who don't know, Reffect is an add-on that you can install on Nexus that allows you to create custom UI interfaces. So over the past few months, almost a year now, I've been working on a few packs. If you follow WP Wooden Potatoes, you probably have seen some of them on his videos. I just wanted to show you guys how to set them up, and also if you want to customize them yourself, and maybe a bit of a tutorial in case you wanted to make your own as well. So right now I have the base interface hidden. This is because one of my packs is actually a remake of this base interface, so that way you can move the elements around the screen and you can like place them wherever you want. This is mostly meant to be used for the skill bar. This is honestly just because of how bloated the buff bar has gotten over the years. I kind of wanted to get rid of that. So I basically just set off onto remaking the entire UI on the style of the original. Because there's a lot of packs like these, but most of them tend to be kind of generic assets. So I kind of wanted to preserve that aesthetic from the game so that you can just move elements around as if you were doing it in game, like you would do on Guild Wars 1. Sadly, we don't have that functionality in Guild Wars 2 yet. Maybe during this year until Guild Wars 3 launches, so they're doing some polish. Maybe we'll get that. I think it's kind of unlikely, but we'll see. Anyway, that aside, how do you set up these packs? So you're gonna need Nexus first. You can follow the instructions on how to install that. It's linked on my packs, but you'll find it very easily if you just Google it. And then from Nexus, you can install Reffect from their repository as well. It will also be linked on the packs. Once you have Reffect installed, once you click Configure, this will show you the list of packs that you have installed. I deleted mine right now just for the tutorial. I'll add them again. You just want to grab the packs from the GitHub pages. I have 3 of them right now. We go to GitHub here. I'll leave the links as well for the video description. There's the UI remake. This is the one I was talking about. It's basically just a straight up carbon copy, as close as I could get to the default UI. But these elements all are movable, so you can place them wherever you want on your screen. Right, so right now, for example, there's a couple of custom examples I posted here. Oops, I don't know why that's not opening. There's a couple of examples I posted here. Is a custom layout for like a more consolidated UI in the middle. The buff bar just kind of on the side. Notice that you don't have all the consumables and Jade bots and protocols and Iceberg Saga bots. All of those have been kind of discarded. There are some packs that already add those, so if you need them for whatever reason, you can add them back and then move them around. Maybe you can put them like at the top right so that they're not in the middle of the screen. This also like allows you for a much cleaner view of the game. This also could, in theory, enable like controller support, like controller layouts if you want. It was just kind of a test I made as well, because I don't know what the exact default UI for Steam is for Guild Wars 2. I know that Steam has a default like community layout, but I've not used it myself, so I can't tell you. This was just kind of like a test that I set up. But basically, this will allow you to remake the UI, well, like move the original UI wherever you want. Like you can move skills individually. You can even like make copies of them. Like a lot of people ask for specifically like anti-query, because anti-query has to deal with the artifacts and the artifacts buffs. You could just like duplicate the anti-query UI and put it like right under your player character, for example, like kind of like I did here for Paragon. I don't know why this one's not opening, honestly. So this is the UI remake. This is the default. A lot of the elements that usually track on the buff bar, like for example on Elementalist's Hammer, the spinning orbs on Elementalist's Hammer would usually go on buffs. I also made another pack, which is these Profession Mechanic Megapack. It has a bunch of enhanced effects for these kind of elements. There's an entire list of features here that you can check if you're interested to see those. It's recommended that you use this one if you feel like using the UI remake. This one will enhance the experience a lot, because a lot of the buffs that you would usually get on the buff bar are tied to like their proper UI elements, so they're easier to keep track of instead of checking the buff bar constantly buffing, jumping around. So I highly recommend you check the Megapack as well. The other one is this UI remake for Guild Wars 1. I'll show them in action in a moment. But it's just so you get an idea what they look like. This one is less intended to be customizable. This is more of like a already set up experience. It's already like set up as you would in Guild Wars 1 with the bars positioned and everything. You can still move the element around, but it's already set up in a mostly cohesive way. So ideally, I don't think you should try to tinker with this one too much, but you still can if you feel like it. So how to use these packs? All of these packs at the top, you'll find the files. They all contain a settings file that you can download that will kind of customize the way that boons and conditions show up. I recommend you get one of these. That they all have the same purpose. It's the same file on all 3 packs. It's mostly for aesthetic purposes. But the important one is the zip files. So you want to download the zip files into your Reffect folder. So you open your Reffect root folder, which should be inside your Guild Wars 2 folder, inside add-ons, Reffect. And here's where you want to drop the zip files. I'm not going to download them again because I already have this backup I made before I started recording. This is just all my packs combined into one, just as an example. But assume this is the zip file for each of the packs. You'll have to download them individually. I'll have them all grouped up. You just extract them. It will extract into the icons and packs subfolder. You'll see I have a few here. So once you have all those extracted, all you have to do is extract. Then you go back to the game. And under Reffect, you can disable and enable it again. It will load the packs. See, the UI popped up. And then you click configure and you'll have your pack list here. If you don't see them, you can also click on reload packs here. It will do the same. And once you have them enabled, you can, or extracted, you can enable whichever one you want. Some of them are not compatible with each other. Like if you use the Guild Wars 1 pack, you should not use either the Megapack or the clean UI one. This one is a standalone. It's recommended to be used as a standalone pack. Now, this is the main one that I wanted to talk about because I think this is the one that people might be more interested in, which is the Guild Wars 2 UI remake. It's basically as close as I could get with Reffect's current limitations to being like a one-to-one remake. I think it's pretty close. As you see, the icons are also animated properly, so they keep transitions and they keep state. And as you can see, the UI, the buff UI is a lot cleaner now. It only has the boons. It has been set up so that boons are always at the bottom, because those are the ones that you typically will always have on your character when you're raiding or doing any sort of content. So the first row is boons. The second row is the combat buffs from like different classes. These have been handpicked. There might be a few that are missing. If people mail them to me, I can add them into the pack. But for the most part, I think these are all the like really relevant ones that you actually need to keep track of. In my Megapack, a lot of these have been turned into actual UI elements, so they will not be included in that pack. And then the conditions are at the top, because those are typically something you don't want to have, so this design should be empty. So how does this pack work? At the root of the pack, you'll find the interface size. Depending on your UI size that you play on, you will have to resize the pack. Where the default will have the normal interface size, which is probably what most people use. If you go to your graphics settings, under interface size, you can change your interface here. If you don't have it set to normal, you'll have to resize the pack. The sizes are listed already here. All you have to do is right-click the pack, right-click the interface, click resize, and then here you enter the value. If you're playing with a small interface, you set it to 90. If you're playing on larger, set it to 110. And if you're playing to largest, you set it to 120. And it will just, you click confirm, and it will scale it accordingly. Once you do that, under general options, if you're using the UI remake pack, because the default UI will show up behind, if I hold the specific key, it shows up again. By default, it will show up behind and it can like get a bit messy. It's recommended that you turn off the default UI. So for that, you want to go to your general options under dynamic HUD. Never show the skill bar and never show the mount bar. Disable temporary show UI notifications. This will cause the base UI to appear whenever you glide. It's kind of annoying. So if you disable this, it will not show up again. And then show ally names keybind is recommended as well. Because these is a UI overlay. These are not real buttons. You can't click these at all. So I'm clicking on these buttons. They don't do anything. So if I want to change my skills, although I can't do it right now because I'm in combat. If I want to change my skills, I can't really click them. You will have to have a hold button so that you can pop the real UI on the back, and then you can click on the arrows and select them. Just let go of the button. Alternatively, you can also go to your hero panel and under your build. You can change your skills here as well. This is one of the few limitations this pack has, that sadly it is just an overlay, so these are not real buttons, not interactable in any way. If your game icons look like this, or they look like the Guild Wars 1 monster attack icon, it's because you must enable reuse game icons under Reffect, Configure, and then in the Settings tab, reuse game icons. And now it will load the textures from the game itself. Okay, so here's an example of how to set up one of these UI layouts. Because, for example, if right now I have the pack enabled, I'm going to disable the pack. So this is the actual in-game UI, and as you can see, the special action key is kind of chopping off a part of the Paragon UI, which looks really, really ugly. I don't know why they didn't move this. So this is one of those things that you can fix in these packs, right? I'm going to toggle them back on, and now I can just customize the pack, make a duplicate of this interface, right? Make this a custom. I'm going to hide the first one just so I don't have two copies of the same one. Right, so now on this interface, I can just move the elements around as I want. And for example, here, I'm really annoyed at the fact that the special action key is covering that piece of the Paragon UI, for example. I'm going to move that one first. Under shared, you have the special action key inside the skill bar. I can just, for example, I can just move that a little bit higher. There we go. Now that's no longer an issue. If I want to make a custom layout for Paragon as well, for example, we're going to put the health orb kind of on the left. I'm going to try to recreate one of the screenshots that I showed earlier. Now the skill bar, I'm going to move to the right. When you're editing a layout like this, it's recommended that you show all the pack elements. It's going to be a bit cluttered, but it's hard to see some of the other stuff. So that will help you try to keep it centered. It will be a bit cumbersome for a bit. We have the weapon skills, and now we want to move the utility skills down here, roughly there. We're going to move the buffs to the right, probably a bit higher. And I'm going to leave them at the bottom. And then the rest of the profession bars I don't really care much about because they don't show up on Paragon. Actually, wait, I need to move the Paragon. So now under profession skills, you're going to find warrior. You're going to move the warrior UI on top here. There we go. I should probably also resize the weapon swap. That's a bit small, a bit big right now. Weapon skills, weapon swap. For example, I want to make this one a tinier version. We're gonna make it like 60%. And we'll probably have to move it as well. And finally, we can move the health orb a little bit more. Health orb. It doesn't cover the weapon swap. There we go. So now you have a compact UI for Paragon, for example. I actually don't like the static mode on the buffs, so I'm going to change that. It's under buffs, boon, and instead of static, I'm going to keep it dynamic, so that way it shrinks whenever I get buffs. They still keep the order, but they stay justified to the left. You actually can change these lists to be like right justified or left justified, or you can also have them centered. For example, if I wanted to have horizontal, rather, I put it here. I'm gonna put it slightly higher because it won't cover the cast bar. I'm gonna move the special action here. There we go. And whenever I get boons, it'll just be in the middle. And as they time out, you'll see that they shrink. Yeah, so that's how you customize your layout. There's some buffs that I've decided not to include in the combat buffs, like for example the Venoms. So they're really transient, they're really like fire and forget for the most part. You don't really want to track them all that much. Like the only ones I've kept are the really important ones. Like weapon mechanics from Soto or Janthir Wilds, the spears. A lot of the spears have unique mechanics that you want to keep track of. If they're not on the buff bar, they're probably in the other Megapack, the Profession Megapack. If I enable this one, you'll see for Thief, I have a set for the spear. which helps keep track of which step of the lead attack combo finisher chain you are on. It's a lot easier to keep track. As I progress through the combo chain, you'll see it keeps going around. If I also have the spear buff, I forgot what it's called. This distracting throw. There we go. If you have distracting throw, it's also here. It'll be easier to keep track of. It's also on top of your weapons UI, so it kind of keeps with your eyes. Yeah, that's a bit of a tutorial on how to set this up. I will probably make tutorials on how to actually like set up icons and such for Reffect, but I will leave that for a separate video. At the moment, I just wanted to show how these packs are installed, and that should keep it relatively short, even though this video is probably already like 20 minutes long. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys later.